As a young lad, I always dreamed of what it would be like living in a world of Pokemon. But as a 28-year-old man with chronic back pain, I know that would be a living nightmare. There's no way I'm exterminating Beedrills around my house with wasp spray. Drifloon may look like a harmless balloon, but this thing really wants to steal your children and possibly eat them. I can't confirm that last part. I don't even know what this thing is, but imagine waking up at 3 a.m. and this thing's in your room. Now I can't Nuzlocke real life, but I think I found the next best thing. Minecraft. What looks like a potential lawsuit turned out to be one of the most fun Nuzlockes I've ever attempted. Cobbleverse introduces all 1025 Pokemon and gym leaders up to the Unova region. The battles are no joke either, with most gym leaders having maxed EVs, optimized movesets, and helpful items. The question remains though, can I beat a hardcore Nuzlocke in Minecraft? The rules of the run are simple. If a Pokemon faints, it's gone for good. The encounters will work a bit differently since this is Minecraft after all. I'm allowed one encounter per unique biome. Initially, I wanted this to just be the first Pokemon I saw, but I was more loose with this rule later on for a more enjoyable playthrough. Outside of this, standard hardcore Nuzlocke rules apply. The naming theme is pretty simple today. If you can guess it first, I'll heart your comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more Nuzlocking content. Let's do this. Like the beginning of any Pokemon journey, the first step in our quest through the Cobbleverse is selecting our starter. I could be basic and pick everyone's unanimously favorite starting Pokemon, Popplio, but that's no fun. To add some randomness to the run and reinforce my gambling addictions, let's let fate decide. Torchic, the classic fire chicken. I was kind of hoping for a later gen water type to help me defeat Brock's gym. It doesn't really help that Torchic is weak to rock type moves, but that's a problem for future me, and I don't much care for that guy. Welcome to the party, Luffy. Another quirk of the Cobbleverse is that the wild Pokemon levels vary pretty wildly. I have to make sure I avoid any Pokemon that are above the current level cap that's enforced by the mod itself. That level cap increases with each gym defeated, so we'll try to stay below that when we get our encounters. The first Pokemon I saw in the forest that fit these rules was the absolute powerhouse, Weedle. Alright, the battle cinematics for this pack is super cool. I love how everything looks. Like I said, the wild Pokemon have some pretty wild level distributions. This Weedle's level 12. Thankfully, he's just a Weedle after all. Welcome to the Team Usopp. Usopp wasted absolutely no time turning into a Beedrill, my second Pokemon that's weak to Brock. I got another taste of why Pokemon in real life would be absolutely terrible. I got lost in the jungle, and every Mankey and Aipom was trying to fight me like I called his mother a hairy primate. In the jungle, we did manage to pick up Nami the Muna. Welcome back, old friend. How I missed you dearly. That's a reference to my last video. Go watch that right now if you haven't already. 3 Pokemon now, and still nothing super effective against Brock. Let's keep searching. Anything to get me out of this jungle where the monkeys keep beating my ass. Luckily, finding something to use against Brock isn't much of an issue. Who would have thought the river biome is full of fish? Not me, I can tell you that much. In the river, we caught Jinbei the Goldeen. Finally something to help out against Brock. Man, playing this mod is so refreshing. Just exploring a world where Pokemon run rampant is so fun. I can imagine starting up a server and playing this with my friends from the Discord. Let me know if you guys want to do that, because I am 100% down. It was difficult to stay focused on my journey. I found myself just looking around and taking in the scenes. Like, look at this cute little Pansage just chilling out in a tree. I could easily throw hundreds of hours into this mod. Everything is just so spectacular. Oh yeah, I guess everybody subscribe. I mean, if everyone in the world subscribed, I could at least afford to spin up a server and buy more Pokemon cards. Sounds like a win-win, right? I stumbled upon the remnants of an old Team Plasma base. Turns out it was an observatory full of loot. Custom generated structures run rampant in this mod. I found EXP candies, gems that boost our moves. All of this is super helpful in the fight against Brock. This place is nice, but way out of my price range. I can only afford something that looks like the closet in the back of an old Blockbuster for a smooth $500 a month. I'm going to stop showing every little encounter because this video would be 10 hours long. We'll just hit the highlights from here on out. Continuing to explore this world, searching for new biomes to get more Pokemon, I accidentally encountered my first gym. Steve, if you ever watch this video, this Psyduck is for you, man. This wasn't Brock's gym. Instead, this was the third gym, home to Lieutenant Surge. Common blunder to accidentally walk to Vermilion City instead of Pewter, even though it's separated by a whole ass ocean. At night, some of the Pokemon just plop down and go to sleep, and it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. If anything happens to this Glameow, I will nuke this entire gym and then myself. I swear it. In Minecraft. I ran into a Team Galactic grunt who immediately challenged me to a battle and sent out a Silcoon. That's like using a ball of yarn against a herd of cats. I can't imagine having the confidence to challenge someone when my Pokemon is more useless than the G in lasagna. Oh yeah, don't think I forgot about you too, Jordan. This duck is for you. While making my way towards Brock's gym, I saw something sparkle on my minimap, and I wandered into a savanna, where I caught Chopper the Dedenne. Chopper will be perfect for Misty's gym coming up. I am still on the lookout for another super effective Pokemon for Brock's gym. Any ocean biomes would be huge, but I can't seem to find any. Mr. Mime sleeping here might be the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Imagine this is in your room at night. I don't know what Ash's mom sees in this thing. He must be packing. Wait, you know what? Never mind. Cut this from the script. Editor, don't put that in. That was too far. Alas, we have finally found it. Brock's gym, just over the horizon. Our first hurdle of the run. The only thing I know about Brock is that his level cap is 25, and he very likely has a Geodude and an Onix. Outside of that, I'm flying in completely blind to mostly all of these gym battles. Before the battle, I evolve Luffy into his second form Combusken. It's kind of weird that I have to do this manually and they don't auto-evolve once they hit the level. Combusken gains a fighting type and it gives us a super effective move against Brock, while losing our own weakness. Clutch timing, Luffy. You always know when to save the day. Except for that time at Marineford. You kinda fumbled that one. While exploring the area around the gym, I caught Zoro the Pignite. Another fire fighting type comes in at the perfect time. We're all finally ready to fight Brock. Enough dilly-dallying, let's get into the action. I equipped all my mons with Oran Berries, since only held items are allowed in these battles. I lead with Luffy, and Brock leads with the level 16 Geodude. I hope I'm not over level for this fight. Double kick is enough to one-shot it, and it would have broken Sturdy, but it doesn't appear that Geodude had Sturdy. Out comes Onix next. So far everything's going to plan. I hit Onix with a huge Sky Uppercut and it knocks him down to 31%. I take some chip damage from Onix's rocky helmet. So the NPCs use useful items, that's good to know. Onix responds with a Bulldoze that knocks us into the yellow, proccing our Oran Berry. Sky Uppercut does have a chance to miss, and somehow Onix outspeeds and hits us with another hard Bulldoze. Sky Uppercut thankfully misses. I'm not sure I would have survived with the chip from Rocky Helmet. With -2 speed, we gotta swap here. I bring out the massively tanky Nami. She tanks 2 Bulldozes and then flinches. What is my luck in Pokemon games lately? Nami tanks the 3rd Bulldoze and gets a Side Beam off to finish Onix. Brock's 3rd Pokemon is Cranidos. With all the Bulldoze speed drops, there's no shot I'll outspeed. I'll have to make another switch. In comes Smoker the Meowth to get a feel for the situation. Smoker can get some free damage off with a Fake Out before hitting a pretty nasty bite. Rock Tomb drops Smoker to 2 HP, but he's done his job. I swap out to Jinbei, who isn't the bulkiest Pokemon, but a Water Pulse is more than enough to finish off the Cranidos. My team is working really well together. And Brock's last Pokemon is a measly level 16 Bonsly. I think I was a bit overleveled. Brock's Ace was only level 20, but there's not much gym leader documentation for this mod. Zoro one-shots Brock's final Pokemon with a single arm thrust, winning us the first gym battle. Good battle, Brock. You can either stay here and sulk in your defeat, or you can come with me and goon over any ladies or low punnies we may happen to pass by on our journey. As in tradition, after beating the gym leader, we rob their house and home and pee on their bed before embarking towards the next gym leader, Misty. I decided from here on out I'm just going to use the mod's predetermined level caps and not worry about what the gym leaders' levels are, since there's not a ton of documentation on the gym leaders in this mod. We made the map to find Misty, and we have a long road ahead of us, but that means we should hit plenty of biomes to find powerful Pokemon to help us on the way. I hope we can also find a Raisin Cane's, because I shit you not, that is the best fast food you can ever eat. I pray they open a restaurant in my mom's basement and sponsor me. I would look like Ben Stiller at the end of Dodgeball. The road to Misty's gym is a long and perilous one, according to my map and my bad storytelling. I found a cherry grove where I caught Ace the Torkoal. I'm really good at my encounter for each biome being a Pokemon that's weak to the upcoming boss battle. As soon as I got in a battle with Torkoal, an Electrike walked into frame right behind him. I'm less lucky than a regular Demon Slayer core member who got caught into the Infinity Castle trap. In the first ocean biome, I caught Arlong the Carvana, and I saw this awesome Lapras. Man, this thing is enormous. I wonder if you can ride them. And also, how much bigger is a Wailord than this? This mod never stops amazing me. After catching a Wattrel I named South, I found what you'll look like in 5 years if you don't like the video and subscribe. No pressure, just trying to feed my kids and my ego. We sailed across the seas, battling wild Pokemon, leveling up and preparing ourselves. Until we finally found it, Misty's gym, on an island by herself out here in the ocean. Who delivers her groceries? Does she eat the water Pokemon surrounding the gym? All these questions will go without answer. Here's the team that will be leading us to victory against Misty. My plan is to let South and Chopper take the lead. Almost all of my fire types are boxed. Firefighting is a terrible type to go against Starmie, which I'm sure Misty has. And outside of that, I don't really know what she's going to bring to the fight. When I stepped into the gym, it seemed that Misty was busy with another challenger.
What are you looking at?
After patiently waiting my turn, it was go time. Arlong was the first to feel out Misty's team. He survives 2 waterfalls, and in return 2 bites are plenty enough to take down Misty's horsey. With Arlong in the red, I had to switch as Misty's ace Starmie comes out onto the field. I'm predicting a Thunderbolt here, so my plan is to switch into South. How wrong was I? South comes out into a nasty surf, dealing over 50%. The Oranberry he held doesn't get him back into a healthy range, so I gotta swap again. Nami comes out and is nearly one-shotted by the surf. Nami is not as bulky as I thought she was. I try to get off a hypnosis as the battle is quickly spiraling out of control. No shot, we are slower. Actually, that's not that hard to believe that a Starmie is faster than a Munna, as I'm reading the script later. And Nami goes down for the first death of the run. Rest easy, Nami. I feel like I hardly knew you. Smoker comes out next and hits Starmie with a strong fake out. I steal Starmie's held item hoping for something good, but it's just a twisted spoon. Man, Nami would have loved that. Smoker's in trouble here, but he does have one thing going for him. He's faster than an elderly man trying to spend his pension at a casino. He nails Starmie with a super effective bite and gets the flinch. Super clutch, Smoker. A second bite takes the KO and brings out Goldeen. It's Chopper's time to shine, easily one-shotting Goldeen and Misty's final Pokemon Psyduck with a parabolic charge. The water badge is ours. And I'm also taking this Magikarp Fishbowl because it looks awesome. Rest in peace, Nami, the first casualty of the run. Your sacrifice won't be forgotten. If only I could have found a Moonstone to truly unlock your potential. And I realized I didn't even get to keep the Twisted Spoons after the battle. Let's give Nami and her assets a 30-second moment of silence filled with an ad break. With Nami resting at sea, we set our sights to Lieutenant Surge in his electric-type gym. My goal is to find a desert biome along the way to hopefully add a ground type to the team. If not, this battle could be tricky. On the way to Lieutenant Surge, I heard something strange. When I turned to look, I saw what appeared to be a shiny Toedscruel. I hardly know what these things look like non-shiny, but I have to catch it. Every Nuzlocke has a rule in the fine print where you can catch any shiny Pokemon you come across. Not sure I'll ever use it, but it's kinda cool. Just outside of Surge's gym, we enter a Savannah Plateau where we catch Kaku the Rhyhorn. This Pokemon isn't a game changer in this battle, not yet anyway, but I can do something fun with Rhyhorn. That's right, I can ride him. I think that's why they named his evolution Rhydon.
Oh, brother!
The only issue is that Rhyhorn is slower than a 3-legged horse. I think my walking speed is faster than Kaku is. No offense, Kaku. But still, this is fun and I'm gonna ride around looking for more encounters. Well, I was gonna do that, but this spawned in a new idea. I can actually fly on South. Now, controlling South's flying is harder than the first 12 hours after a Viagra, not speaking from experience, but this is awesome. This will massively speed up finding gyms and new biomes for encounters. Once I get the hang of controlling South, we are going to be swimming in encounters. Our travels were unsuccessful in finding a desert biome. I did find something else though, a sky city. It looks like a village. Maybe I can finally use the coins I've been hoarding. This place is massive, and I'm really looking for some held items because I'm running dangerously low on the starter kit Oranberries that I had. I was disappointed to learn all the villagers only traded generic Minecraft items. There were a few chests with mostly junk in them. I did find a link cable to evolve any trade evolutions, but that's pretty much the only thing of note. Big disappointment. On my way back to Surge, I found another massive villager settlement. This town was instantly more promising. I found a berry patch with 10 different kinds of berries, even a Pokemon Center, fully equipped with a Nurse Joy. I gave my team a quick heal and I searched the town more thoroughly. Somehow I ended up in Nurse Joy's bedroom. Who knew she lived underneath the Pokemon Center this whole time? When Brock watches this video, he's going to be punching the air when he learns where I am right now. I found a black belt, a pretty solid item for my firefighting types. Man, this place is massive and I haven't even stepped foot in the palace yet. The top floor of this mansion seemed to be all the villagers' rooms. I found some great items here. Eviolite, Focus Sash, Light Clay, lots of stuff to help me continue my journey. Sorry to all the villagers I robbed. I didn't see any Officer Jennies anywhere, so this is fair game. And there it is, kids. The moral of the video is to rob those that are less fortunate than you. The Pokemon way. Am I Team Rocket? I think I turned into Team Rocket at some point in this script. After ransacking most of the city, it was time to move on. I collected a lot of good battle items for the journey ahead. Maybe once my journey's over, I'll come back and retire here. Or I'll just burn the city down now. I haven't really decided yet. Okay, wouldn't this Grimer like dissolve in the river? His body's a pile of sludge. I don't understand how his anatomy works. What holds him together? Here's the team I'm bringing into the Surge fight. Kaku's a ground type, so I'm expecting him to carry most of the load. I'm gonna be real. I thought Smoker was a sacrifice for the Brock fight, but he's proven himself to be a mainstay on this team. He might be the steal of the draft so far. The shiny Toad Squirrel Bellamy also made the cut. I didn't know it at the time, but Bellamy's part ground type, and he knows a couple ground moves. Super useful here. Surge leads off with what I assume is his ace, Raichu. It appears that the NPCs are following the mod's imposed level cap now. I lead with Smoker for fake out chip damage. Technician Scarf boosted fake outs hit for 33%. Expecting a Thunderbolt here, I swap into Kaku. Perfectly predicted. Kaku takes a weak Psychic before knocking out Raichu with a Bulldoze. Out comes Magnezone. I believe Kaku is holding an Eviolite, so I should tank any Steel type move this thing might have, so I stay in and rip another Bulldoze. Surge must have been predicting this switch, or he's been huffing too much glue, and he uses a Thunder Shock. He might have been trying to mind game me, but I'm too smooth-brained to not just click another attack. Surge uses a full restore to bring Magnezone back from death's door. First time a trainer's used a potion against me. Of course, had to come from Weenie Hut Jr. Surge. Surge uses not one, but 2 potions against me. But now Magnezone has a -3 speed, so surely we outspeed and take the KO. He hits us with a Gyro Ball that does next to nothing, and he goes down. Next out is Boltund, and this thing is scary. Bulldoze should do some pretty good damage though. Turns out Boltund has some coverage and he hits us with a nasty Ice Fang. Another Bulldoze drops Boltund into the yellow, but Kaku won't survive another Ice Fang. I swap to Ace on an Ice Fang and it barely touches him. I need to take this Pooch out fast, like the WNBA is trying to do to Caitlin Clark, or he's gonna run through me. I hit him with a Flame Wheel, knocking him out and bringing in Surge's final Pokemon, Electabuzz. I swap in Bellamy the Toad Squirrel to help us finish out the mission. Mudshot hits hard and drops his speed 1 tier. Electabuzz is just ripping quick attacks, making me think he doesn't really have anything that can hit a ground type. One last Mudshot ends the battle, claiming us our 3rd gym badge. I can really tell the difficulty is ramping up with this mod. Surge's team was no joke, even with 3 Pokemon who are immune to electric attacks. My team is really lacking speed, and I feel like I'm missing 1 or 2 team members to take us through the mid-game. While in the swamp, I noticed something massive swimming in the waters. Unfortunately, it was well above the level cap, and it started chasing me. There's only 2 times I felt fear in my life, and this was one of them. The other one happened at Space Camp, and my therapist said we don't talk about that one anymore, so let's just leave it at that. Instead, I settled for this Carnivine. Not quite a Gyarados, but there's no chance I was catching that monster. I got a better chance of being the starting QB for the Browns this season than catching that Gyarados. Hey, the odds are higher than you think too. It's around 20% for the Browns thing. At the next large village I came across, I finally found one, a Pokemon Mart. When I stepped inside, the worker looked like he liked to lick Polytoads in his free time, but who am I to judge people's hobbies? The Mart was largely disappointing. He mostly sold standard Pokemon Mart items, and he also didn't take these gold coins that I have 4 stacks of. I didn't know it, but I was apparently a crypto millionaire. Well, close. I had over 10k currency. So I bought a few Great Balls, and the jury's still out on if these coins are used for anything. These coins are about as useful as me after 9 PM on most nights. If I'm not posting nonsense in my Discord, then I'm probably just asleep. You should join our Discord. Now let's get a tournament server spun up ASAP, link to the Discord below. Before the Erika fight, I evolved Luffy into his final form Blaziken, and Zoro to his final form Emboar. Here's the team we're taking into the battle. This battle has me the least worried of any of the gyms so far. Our Sun team should really shine here, for a lack of a better term. Charcoal boosted Emboar should be devastating. I also added Alvida the Tinkaton. She has a Steel Gem to boost her already 160 base power Gigaton hammer attack. That is a mouthful. All these gyms are so pretty and well designed. I love the tender care that went into each of them. Look at this, it's just stunning. Roserade comes out first for Erika. Torkoal leads for me to set up the Sun. He tanks a Venoshock, which did a surprising amount of damage. Roserade survives a Flamethrower with a Focus Sash, and I don't really want to eat another Venoshock, so I swap into Alvida since she's immune. Another perfect prediction from your boy. I swap into Luffy on the next turn as Erika uses her first full restore, but a Flamethrower was all we needed from Luffy, and that one-shotted Roserade. Vileplume comes out next, and I should outspeed. Holy shit, I was wrong. Vileplume connects with a massive Moonblast, dropping Luffy down to a single point of health. No sash, by the way. Luffy has some insane plot armor. And I am just now realizing that Luffy doesn't have his ability Speed Boost. I wonder if I can change that. I surely outspeed and sweep here if he does, but I have to pivot. Alvida comes out and tanks the Moonblast. I'm glad Erika used another full restore, because I clicked Bonk Hammer with no regrets. Erika then uses a third full restore. How many do these guys get? 3 full restores in one battle? Jeez. These guys using full restores like the guy in front of you at the gas station buying scratch-offs. Does that even make sense? After a Metal Claw attack boost, another Gigaton Hammer drops Vileplume, and out comes Victory Bell. I swap in Ace to set up the Sun, and tank a Leaf Storm that hits us pretty hard, leaving us on 4 HP. I got more plot armor in this battle than all of the One Piece. Sun boosted, Charcoal boosted Flame Charge one-shots Victory Bell, and brings out the final Pokemon Blossom. Sorry, little one. Heat Crash does more damage based on how much you outweigh your opponent, and look at this poor little Blossom. Gym badge obtained, but man, there were some close calls in that fight. Koga's gym wasn't very far away from Erika's, and a poison gym is a bit tougher than a grass gym. Alvida will be huge here again though. Before entering the gym, I went to a nearby village. This village must be Lavender Town because they have their own spooky tower. I don't know if I caught it on film or not, but a level 2 Bidoof walked into the courtyard and committed unalive right in front of me. Very spooky. Despite being very aesthetically pleasing, there was literally nothing here. I'm hoping for an area with tons of ghost types, but in this mod, ghost types are less common than Quiznos remaining in the wild. You guys remember little old Kaku? Well, this is him now. He is a unit, ready to smash Koga. Here's the squad we're bringing into the Koga fight. 2 ground types and a steel type should be enough to do it. These fights are quickly ramping up in difficulty though. I don't know what Pokemon to expect here. I did notice the gym leader's Pokemon are very likely EV trained. Some scenarios where I should have outsped Erika, I didn't, so I took some time to optimize my team's EVs before the Koga fight. The gym leaders are already optimized with items, so it makes sense that they're IV/EV trained too. Koga leads with Crobat and I lead with Kaku. It's only fair that his first mon is completely immune to ground type moves, and I actually don't have much overall for this Crobat. Koga's gym is super crowded. A wild Swan is flying around and a Poliwhirl is taking a whiz in the pool. Crobat has some recovery with the black sludge he's holding, and my takedown does about 40% of his HP. I switch into South, who takes an Air Slash pretty comfortably, and I respond with a super effective Volt Switch, knocking out Crobat and bringing in Alvida. Venomoth comes out, and I don't think anything is ready for a Steel Gem boosted Gigaton Hammer. That is a mouthful still. Koga instantly swaps into Weezing, and he survives the boosted hit and munches down on his Oranberry. Weezing doesn't really threaten Alvida, so my plan is to scratch him to death with Metal Claw. I get distracted as another Poliwhirl has wandered into the gym. As I'm watching these two, I start hearing some weird noises. I think they were making a Poliwag in the corner. You can't judge me for watching though, because that's just nature or some shit. Weezing isn't able to damage Alvida due to the poison immunity, and I'm perfectly content with just ripping Metal Claws, hoping for that attack boost. Koga has other plans though as he goes back into Venomoth. Koga reveals that his Venomoth knows Psychic, even though it doesn't do much to Alvida. But if Luffy or Sanji was in on that, that would have been devastating. Koga goes back into Weezing, and I'm clawing this Weezing like I'm a cat, and he's the last nice piece of furniture left in the house. Koga pulled some wild tech to use a full restore on Venomoth from inside the party. Didn't know the AI could do that one either. I was expecting another swap here. Instead, Koga uses a full restore on Weezing. Weezing does manage to spite the rest of my Giga Hammer PP. What a wild sentence. I think you would hear that one in a Blue Chew commercial, not a Pokemon Minecraft video. Rip to my Giga Hammer PP. Psychics are starting to wear down Alvida. Koga loves switching though, and out comes Toxtricity. I bring in South for a very cheeky heal before going back into Alvida on the incoming Sludge Bomb. Read you like a book there, Koga. Kaku comes out and that's 3 straight turns of no damage. Koga gotta be punching the air right now. One quad effective Earthquake finishes the Poison Lizard, and out comes Drapion. Drapion survives the Earthquake thanks to his Sash, but a second Earthquake finishes the job. Weezing's next, and I counter with Alvida. I'm spamming Play Rough in hopes that he gives me some free chip onto the Venomoth. This works perfectly until Alvida misses the Play Rough. Follow that up with a flinch on the Zen Headbutt, and this Moth is giving me some trouble. South hits hard with a Volt Switch, but he can't take another hit or he'll be Kentucky Fried. Bellamy comes out and gets a Paralyze on the Moth, and I need a clean switch into Luffy. Thank you for your sacrifice, Bellamy. It turns out you were a good guy in the end. I rip a mud shot as the psychic comes out to end Bellamy, but Venomoth is fully paralyzed. One more mud shot isn't enough to secure the win though, unless it crits, taking down the moth. Last is Wheezing, who Alvida clears easily, securing us the 5th gym badge deathless. That was a tough one and required some luck, but we pulled through. After collecting the 5th gym badge, I made it to Sabrina's gym. I didn't find many unique encounters along the way. It feels like 90% of this map is forest or ocean. No deserts or snow biomes anywhere. Hopefully I can find some of those soon to expand the roster, because the encounters are running dry. As I sat in my cubicle at my day job, a thought struck me. Why have I encountered hardly a single ghost-type Pokemon? Where are they all at? With the Psychic Gym Leader Sabrina up next, it couldn't hurt to find some. And then it hit me. Minecraft has 5 additional biomes, but they aren't in the overworld. They're in the Nether. So that's exactly where I went. The Nether on this world was nothing short of the awful fiery hell I remember it to be. I accidentally found Blaine's gym on my travels. What kind of atrocities did Blaine do to the people of Kanto to deserve to be banished to hell for all eternity? I heard he advocated that Arby's sells actual food. Others believe that he was the owner of the infamous Typhlosion. You know the one. In the Nether Wastes, the first Pokemon I come across is exactly what I'm looking for. Welcome to the team, Perona the Ghastly. We also caught Mr. 1 the Durant in the Basalt Delta, and Mr. 3 the Litwick in the Soul Sand Valley. One short and scary trip to the Nether, and I snagged 3 super effective Pokemon for the upcoming gym fight. I feel like I'm executing better than Ash Ketchum, but he walked into Brock's gym planning to use Pikachu, so the bar is actually pretty low. After all this time, I finally found a desert biome. The team's about to be looking completely different like the 2026 Lakers. No more Bronny Jr., hello Kyogre. Could you imagine walking through a desert as one of the first settlers, then you see this monstrosity staring out at you from the sand? Yeah, keep Pokemon in the games, dude. I don't ever want to see a sand hippo. The hippos are already scary enough in the water. Anyways, you're coming with me, pal. Get in the ball. As I was leaving the desert in Badlands, I saw it. After all this time, I finally found one of these. The department store. TMs, new Pokedex, Pokefinders, pork chops. This department store had everything. They didn't take relic coins though, just the other type of currency. Relic coins are about as useful as the US government. What even do they do? The Battle Master had the item I was after, leftovers. An item that heals the holding Pokemon slightly every single turn. One of the most useful held items in the game. Outside of leftovers, I wasn't too interested in anything else from the department store. If I knew who my team was a little bit better for the Elite Four, I could try to pick up some good TMs, but maybe I'll have to come back. It's time to take on Sabrina, and I gotta say the team is looking pretty solid. Lots of new faces, but the goal's still the same. 2 ghost types and a bug type to deal super effective damage. Also, the ever-reliable setup man Smoker, Kaku the Beast, and Alvida the Machine. I'm still scouting who's going to make the cut for the Elite Four, so everyone has something to play for here. Sabrina leads with Hatterene, and I lead with Smoker. I have no clue what this Pokemon is or what it does, so Smoker, make this quick. Technician boosted Fake Out does good chip, and we swap into Alvida. One Hammer Bonk is enough to take out Hatterene. Mr. Mime's creepy looking ass comes out next. Look at him doing the Macarena in my face over here, such BM. A Flash Cannon hits him pretty hard, and he responds with a critical hit Psychic that does pretty much nothing. Another Hammer Bonk takes a second casualty, and out comes Alakazam. I don't think he can hit us very hard here. I go into Mr. 1 just to be safe, and Alakazam hits us with a critical hit Psyshock that does about 25%. Spoonman then rips a powerful Shadow Ball, bringing Mr. 1 into the red, but Mr. 1 responds by knocking him out with a single hit with Bug Bite. Galarian My Little Pony Rapidash is the final Pokemon for Sabrina. Weird that she only has 4 Pokemon when Koga had 5. I bring in Alvida, who probably could have just swept the gym, let's be real. Until Rapidash rips a high horsepower that hits Alvida for super effective damage, knocking her out completely. My best Pokemon, gone just like that. I lost my best Pokemon to a My Little Pony. Smoker comes in and hits a hard Fake Out for some chip damage, and a Bite knocks her into the red, but a high horsepower does 50% to Smoker. I go into Kaku, who finishes the battle with an Earthquake, marking us victorious. This victory didn't come without sacrifice though. Alvida went down. I've never used Tinkaton, and she quickly became one of my favorites in this run. I really hope I get the opportunity to use Gigabonk Hammer again sometime soon. Rest in peace, Alvida. Thank you for your efforts. I wasted no time marching straight to Blaine in hell. Here's the team we're bringing into the battle. Some familiar faces, but also a few newcomers looking to make their mark. I lead Foxy the Clawitzer, as Blaine leads a Torkoal that doesn't know drought. Expert moves. What is this, amateur hour, Blaine? What are we doing here? A single Muddy Water drops Torkoal. No drought and no sash. I have come to expect more from these trainers. Charizard comes out next. First time I've seen one in this mod. He outspeeds and uses a Solar Beam. But since there was no sun set up, he gets knocked out by another Muddy Water. Foxy sweep alert. We are under a Foxy sweep alert. Just kidding. Arcanine hits a Thunderfang that breaks our sash and gets us to under 50%. Muddy Water does clean him up though, and out comes Typhlosion. I bring in Brook, who tanks a Focus Blast nicely with his handy dandy leftovers. Eruption does a ton in damage to Brook, but an Earthquake finishes Typhlosion, bringing out Magmortar, Blaine's final Pokemon. Eruption does damage based on the user's HP, so that's why it smoked Brook so hard. I go into Kaku on a Flamethrower, and all Blaine can do is watch, as another Earthquake finishes Magmortar. To my surprise, Blaine actually had one more Pokemon, a Magcargo. Counting is not my strong suit. I do have an Iowa education after all. One more quad effective Earthquake does the trick, getting us yet another gym badge and just one more to go. Located deep beneath the surface lies the final gym leader. How the Gym Leaders Union and Trainers' Rights Association allowed him to keep his gym buried under a mountain is beyond me. What parent would send their kid on a Pokemon journey if they knew this was one of the stops? I guess these are the advantages you have by being the leader of the region's largest crime syndicate. I can't lie though, the aesthetic is awesome and this is the perfect location for an evil lair. Way better than an old electrical station or a weather station or even one of the Team Rocket members' mom's basements. As cool as it may be, it doesn't change that Giovanni is our last stop before challenging the Elite Four. Here's the team we're bringing into the final gym battle. A lot of familiar faces with Bellamy returning and Frankie making his debut. My PC is not built for a ground type gym, so this is kind of the best we can do. Hoping Foxy can do a lot of the heavy lifting with his one jacked claw. Foxy looking like Morty when he had that one super arm he was using to crank it. Let's just start the battle. When I stepped into the gym, Giovanni wasn't there. Guess I'll just sit here and wait for him. After deep diving on Reddit, I gotta clean the skulk off of Giovanni's floor because it's preventing him from spawning. I guess that makes sense. Wait, this is a double battle? First double battle of the run and I'm scrambling. I have a house cat and a genetically deformed lobster against two giant monsters. This does not look good. I use Fake Out to stun T-Tar, and I use a Water Pulse to take down Rhyperior in a single hit. Giovanni laughs at me using strategy, and he sends out a Mewtwo. I audibly said, "What?" in my basement to myself with the lights off. I think one of my cats might have looked up at me. Mewtwo moves first and annihilates Smoker with the Psy Strike, cleanly knocking him out. Smoker, you came so far, my friend. Meeting you on day one of the journey, only to lose you to a literal god of a Pokemon. I'm so proud of you, my friend. Foxy Water Pulses T-Tar to 5% after taking a brutal Thunderfang himself. I bring in Brook as we are in full scramble mode. How am I going to take down a Mewtwo that moves fast and hits like a truck? Predicting another Thunderfang, I switch into South. South comes out and he is instantly vaporized by Mewtwo, one-shotting my feathered friend. South, I flew across the universe on you. I will not let Mewtwo survive this battle. An Earthquake from Brook takes out T-Tar, and we're both down to 4 Pokemon. Mewtwo has coverage for literally everything, and smokes Bellamy with a Flamethrower. Thankfully, Bellamy survives, and tanks a Night Slash from Giovanni's Persian. Bellamy absolutely clutches up and gets a Stun Spore off on Mewtwo, giving us the speed advantage going forward. Bellamy is likely done for this battle, and I can finish off Mewtwo with another Crunch. But my team is too weak to afford anyone else to be able to swap in. I'm sorry, Bellamy. A feint attack from Persian drops Bellamy, but Brook manages to take down Mewtwo with another Crunch. Frankie comes out for me, and Nidoking for Giovanni. Frankie takes a nasty play rough from Persian, and Nidoking poisons Frankie. Frankie responds with a Brick Break that cleanly knocks out Persian, and Brook chips down Nidoking with an Ice Fang. Our Lord and Savior Bidoof has smiled upon me on this day, as the Ice Fang catches the freeze on Nidoking. Frankie's ability is also Poison Heal, which means Nidoking just gave us free leftovers, so thanks for that, Giovanni. I set up with the growth on Frankie and use a yawn on Nidoqueen to give her a nice snoozer. Giovanni then full restores Nidoking, unfreezing him, and Nidoqueen gets a high roll knockout on Frankie. Suddenly it's down to a 2v2. A heavily wounded Foxy and Brook against the Nidos and whatever potions Giovanni has left. Nidoking puts a Toxic on Brook, while Foxy blasts him with a one-shot Water Pulse, knocking him out, making this a 2v1. Nidoqueen wakes up on the second turn of sleep unfortunately, and knocks out Foxy with a Crunch. We're down to a 1v1. The entire run is counting on you, Brook. With no teammates left to worry about, Brook rips an Earthquake, knocking out the Queen and winning us the final gym badge in a bloody brawl. We did it, guys. We collected all 8 gym badges. The final price to pay was a heavy one. Losing 5 of the 6 Pokemon we went into battle with. They will tell stories of the bloodshed down in the deep dark. Thank you all for your service. Whether you spent one battle with me or the entire adventure, we will remember you when we are champions. I gotta admit, the vibes after this have never been lower. Going into the deep dark and leaving behind all that remained of some of my best friends, it's gonna be tough to pick up the pieces to become the Pokemon champion. The location of the Elite Four in Cobbleverse is in the end. I don't know what Pokemon the end could possibly hold, but that's the beauty of this mod. You never know when you're gonna run into a Xerneas or when you're gonna run into a Caterpie. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The end is literally littered with unknowns. The music is playing in here is an absolute banger though. Enjoy this unedited clip to jam out before an ad break starts. Holy shit. Yeah, this is gonna do nicely for the Elite Four. Consider this my end encounter. After countless hours, battles won, friends made, and friends lost, we have made it to the Elite Four's tower. It's time for every lesson we've learned along the way to come to fruition against 4 of the greatest trainers in Kanto. The Elite Four's tower is massive. The musical score is pure cinema. The penultimate battles are upon us. After spending some time team building and theory crafting, this is what I landed on. I'm gonna be real, we're looking at the New York Giants Super Bowl odds of winning this thing with this squad. Getting through L'Oreal will be a massive challenge on its own with 3 ice weaknesses, but the bench squad didn't offer much assistance. This is the hand we're dealt, and we gotta come out on top. This is what Nuzlocking is all about. L'Oreal leads with the Pokemon I've never seen nor heard of before. It's pretty much Ice Rapidash. Luffy leads with the strong Fire Gem boosted Blaze Kick that knocks the Ice Rapidash into the red, before it responds with a devastating Stomping Tantrum, bringing me into the red. A second Blaze Kick hits and knocks Ice Rapidash out, and Mamoswine comes in next. I'm expecting another ground move here. I bring in Brook to tank an Earthquake, but instead Brook tanks an Ice Beam with his held Yacha Berry before getting a yawn off. I swap in Arlong to tank an Ice Beam before Mamoswine falls asleep. A single Liquidation takes out the Swine, and Lapras comes in next. I rip a Bite hoping for some decent chip damage, and we manage to get the flinch. Back-to-back Bite flinches has Lapras at 50%. A third Bite brings Lapras into the red, as an Ice Beam brings Arlong into the red as well. A fourth Bite takes down Lapras, and I'm really surprised L'Oreal didn't use a full restore here. But hey, I will absolutely take it. Weavile comes in and I swap into Kaido on a Hydro Pump that luckily misses. We are getting extremely lucky so far in this battle. I have to back up because Kaido is basically a Godzilla in Pokemon form. I can't get both Pokemon in the frame. A Heavy Slam decimates Weavile. I googled it and Kaido weighs almost a ton and he's not even close to the heaviest Pokemon. Frostlass comes in and rips the Destiny Bond. L'Oreal must have left her brain cells at home because she lived a Heavy Slam with a Focus Sash. I just gotta click Heavy Slam and pray she goes for the full restore, which is exactly what she did. But that's not how Destiny Bond works. Stupid Bucko, what are you doing, man? Kaido goes down to the Destiny Bond as I need to brush up on my Pokemon mechanics. Down to our final Pokemon, Jinx, we bring out Perona. And one Shadow Ball is enough to seal the deal and win us our first battle in the Elite Four. I'll be the first to admit we got pretty lucky against L'Oreal. But Bruno is no slouch either. Down to Pokemon now, I gotta pull out all the stops once again. I lead with Luffy and he leads with Hariyama. I lead with the Feather Dance as he hits me with a Force Palm. Time to bulk up. Leftover recovery and bulk up has me boosted to +2 attack and defense. I hit Harry Mama with a super effective Aerial Ace, one-shotting him. Machamp comes out next and he lives my Aerial Ace on 4%. Then he rips an Earthquake. That gets Luffy down to 1%. Insane clutch by Luffy. More plot armor for the main character. And Lord knows we need it. Another Aerial Ace finishes Machamp as Hitmontop comes out. Aerial Ace one-shots Hitmontop as well, and before I can blink, we're up 5-3 on Bruno. That victory was very short-lived as Lucario outspeeds Luffy and takes him down with a Shadow Ball. Well done, Luffy. You may have saved your crew for one more fight. Earthquake from Brook takes down Lucario, avenging the fallen captain of the crew. Hitmonlee hits us with a tough high jump kick before being knocked into the red from an Earthquake by Brook. I swap to Perona as Hitmonlee's next jump kick sends him crashing to his doom. And Bruno's already down to his last Mon, Hitmonchan. I rip a Shadow Ball for some chip as Hitmonchan uses a powerful knockoff to force me to swap to Arlong. Trailblaze hits Arlong incredibly hard, and Hitmonchan gets a speed boost. I gotta be careful, this thing may reverse sweep us. I use an Aqua Jet for some priority chip damage as Hitmonchan finishes Arlong with a knockoff. Kaku comes out as Bruno uses a full restore. Earthquake hits incredibly hard. This repeats a total of 4 times before Kaku takes out Bruno's final Pokemon, netting us the second win in the Elite Four. With only 3 Pokemon left, this run is all but over. I'll be damned though if I'm not going to try and win this thing though. Agatha is the 3rd Elite Four member, and I'm going to need every bit of RNG to get through this battle. Agatha leads with Banette, and I lead with Brook. Crunch hits pretty hard, but so does Banette's Shadow Ball. Brook is knocked into the red before a second Crunch nets the KO. Agatha brings out Gengar next, and a Shadow Ball ends Brook's run. Pretty ironic, yeah I know. Kaku comes out and I try to use Earthquake, but Agatha's Gengar has Levitate. Why do all my Pokemon have ass abilities, by the way? Luffy didn't have Speed Boost, and my Perona didn't have Levitate. Stone Edge finishes the Gengar as Houndstone comes out next. Super underrated Pokemon, I really love the design on this guy. Kaku lives a hit and brings Houndstone down to its sash with a Stone Edge. Another Bulldoze from Houndstone drops Kaku, and Perona is my final Pokemon of the run. Dark Pulse manages to get the KO, and Spiritomb comes out next. I just gotta 1v3 this battle, and then 1v6 Lance in the next one. Sounds doable, right? Nah, 1 Shadow Ball is enough to do it. Ending our run at Agatha in the Elite Four. GG's, Agatha. While we didn't end this journey as the Pokemon champion, this mod was so much fun. I got to play around with tons of new Pokemon and explore a world filled to the brim with wild Pokemon. As I sit here writing this script, this video is going to be one of the longest I've ever made. This adventure would be a blast with some friends. Hosting a Discord-only Cobblemon Bender would be a dream come true. Nuzlocking this mod pack isn't for the faint of heart though. The gym leaders are no joke, and they have great coverage. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. Alright, I've yapped enough, and statistically this video is so long, nobody is still watching this far in. Time to unveil my biggest, darkest secret.